Well, y'all, I'm out here and I thought I'd show you how I'm trying to freshen up the soil to plant in for this year, because I'm using all of my potting mix and soil that I made last year. I'm not dumping that out. That's staying right here in my pots. I've already got a jalapeno, some seed planted right here in this little pot. But now I'm gonna, and I've got sunflowers or something coming up in here. But what I'm gonna do is just take this spade and I'm breaking up the dirt. Just loosening the dirt up. Because most of that stuff is broke down from last year. So this year it's even better to plant in than it was before. And what I'm going to do is amend. I've got compost right here, broken down compost that I just got out of the compost bin. Doesn't take much. And then I've got native dirt and a little bit of topsoil or potting mix mixed in. And like I said, it don't take much. You're just, what we're doing is reviving. We're kind of like giving the dirt that was there a new lease on life. That makes sense. And we'll put a little bit of that right over the top of where I had put my pepper seed. Now, what do I need to put there? My tomatoes didn't grow too good in this pot. I think it got too much sun or not enough sun. I don't know. But my eggplant did really good in this one last year. I'll get this back so I can show you without my... This ground is not very even, so my tripod wants to turn over. There. I grew eggplant in this one last year, really good. So I'm just pulling the old one out. I'll throw that in the compost pile later. And I'm just gonna do the same. I'm gonna break it all up. And every bit of the logs and wood is not broken down in the very bottom, but that's okay. But right now what we're doing is just loosening the dirt up. It looks like I'm gonna have to replace this tote. It might make it through this summer, with that heat getting on the tote has dry rotted it. And it's been here for probably 3 or 4 years, so that's not bad for a plastic container to grow in. For, you know, like $6.97, what I think I paid for it. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put some compost that's broken down. Put native dirt with a little bit of topsoil. And I have to take my glove off to be able to handle the seeds. Can't handle the seeds when I've got my gloves on. That's jalapeno there. And I'll probably put a jalapeno over here too, right along with my eggplant. I got a couple of eggplant that are coming up in the greenhouse. Finally, they started coming up. I know it takes them a while. But that's Black Beauty eggplant, or Midnight Moon hybrid. And you know what? I think I'm going to put 2 little hills. That should give me two decent eggplant in the middle. Just cover it up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them their own little mini greenhouse. And all this is a 2-liter soda bottle with the bottom cut off. And you remove the lid because you want a little bit of air to be able to get in it. And that shows when the seeds come up, there's no roly-polies or any insects that's going to get in there, like snails. They love to chew on the baby seedlings, especially like eggplant and stuff like that. And I think I'll put eggplant in this other one. No, let's see. What about a patty pan squash? And I call them patty pans, but they're the scallop squash. And some eggplant in this other one with the jalapeno pepper. And I got a mark on it what it is so I don't forget what I planted. Okay, I took the little markers out and then I didn't know what I did with them. But I'm going to write eggplant on this little stake. And what else do we want to plant with it? Hot pepper, probably. So I'll put that right there so I know what I've planted there. I gotta get my hot pepper. Well, what did I do with it? That's sweet banana pepper. Don't tell me I didn't bring my hot pepper. Let me go over here to my tray. See if I can find my jalapeno pepper. Oh, there's my hot pepper. Right there. I forgot I laid it around the corner of the tote, but it's a red hot pepper. Those are hot. They're not banana peppers, they're hot peppers. And I'm going to put one of those right here in the corner. Cover it over. Pat it down a little bit. And I'm not going to water it now because I already watered last night, so the dirt is wet. And I got jalapeno over there, but I should write red hot pepper on that. I don't think the snails or anything will bother the pepper plant. Usually the bugs stay away from that. But I'm going to put red. Red hot pepper and eggplant is planted right there. So I know not to put anything in there again. See, what else? Patty pan, that's what I want. What did I do with all my markers? I pulled a bunch of markers out yesterday and I don't know what I did with them. I'm going to put the scallop. I'm going to try one of these over here this year. I've never tried them here before, so just write scalloped, white. White squash. I left out my A. Write it on this side. Oops, I lost the top of my marker. So I'm going to put that there. I know I got a jalapeno in that little pot, and then I'm going to have the scalloped pepper growing on the rest of it. And I'm going to try to only like put 2 seeds in here. And maybe I'll get one of both of them. I mean, sometimes your seed might not sprout. Or I might just put 2 in each hole. That's 4. And if they come up, I can pull them out and put them somewhere else. So there we got scallop white bush squash right there, a jalapeno. We got 2 eggplants with red hot pepper in the corner. That should help keep the bugs off of the plants. If you plant marigolds and hot peppers, geraniums, any of that type of thing, they'll help keep off different pests away from your plants. And I've got I'm afraid that's going to tip over. I don't trust this tripod out here. I really don't. But I've got asparagus here. And I've already broke off one piece and I see another one coming up, sprouting up. But I've also got sunflowers coming up in here. And I don't want sunflowers in here. So I need to get these sunflowers out. But that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my seeds when I put my seeds out. Unless it's a hot pepper, I'm going to put a miniature greenhouse over the top of it. Now that accomplishes a lot. It keeps the bugs off of them. It keeps moisture inside even though the outside might dry out. It has a vent so it doesn't overheat inside. And it allows for the rain to wet the dirt, also wet in here. So you've just got a miniature greenhouse until your seedling gets big enough that usually the pests will leave them alone. When they're just a little tiny sprout, they love to eat it. After it gets up several inches tall, usually the insects will leave your plants alone. And then it's okay to take that dome off of them. But yeah, I've got tons of sunflowers coming up. And I've got them all over the yard. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I definitely don't want it on my asparagus. I don't want sunflowers growing in my asparagus spot. Asparagus. Can't even say it. I mean, that asparagus is so good when you can just come out here and break a piece off and just stand right there and eat it. Now, what did I do with my... Well, right here, and I'm looking at it. But yeah, I got to get these out. And I'm going to try to get them out in a clump to where I can transplant them, or at least get dirt on them. That way I can transplant them in other parts of the yard. Because I love sunflowers, and I planted sunflowers, but, you know, I don't want them coming up in my asparagus pot. Just have to pull that one out. Oh, felt like something biting me. But this is some rich dirt. When you make your own compost and your own soil, so your plants will grow in it. I wish I had another asparagus crown to put in here. I started out with 4 or 5 of them. I had them in the ground, and they started spreading like crazy. And it kind of scared me. I was afraid it would spread too far where they were at, and I dug them up. And I couldn't keep the grass out of them either. So I put them in the pot, and I've got one that survived. But it puts out asparaguses every year, and you know, it'll spread. As the years go by, it will spread for you. You see how I get that with a lot of dirt on it, so I can plant it somewhere else. And I'm going to loosen it up a little bit around my asparagus. I don't want to cut the roots, so I'm going to be careful not to get too close or too deep. And I am going to add some more compost to it. Go over here and get some more of my compost out of my bin. And it doesn't take much compost. Oh. You know, that's your fertilizer, your compost. It's adding soil and plant food at the same time for your plant. Some of the stuff hasn't broke down yet. Yeah, but I love fresh asparagus right out of your garden. I may buy me some more asparagus and start another tote of it. But I think I put 2 crowns in there and one of them survived. And it's put out asparagus shoots for the last several years. I got enough at one time that I cooked it. It made a meal for me. Other times it didn't last till I got it to the pot. I just ate it right out of the pot out here. So that's what I do, and I'm going to take these around to my rock gardens and stuff, and I'm going to put sunflowers in there. But I want it to rain before I do that. I'm going to try to put more dirt in here and keep them in a bucket or something until I can plant them in the rock gardens. If we could get just a good shower, I could transplant them and they'd be fine. Another thing I want to do is see how the roots grow out under the bottom of the pot? My trellis didn't work too good last year. I couldn't keep it from falling over. So this is what I think I'm going to do with it this year. I'm going to put my pepper plant at one end, and I'm going to put my tomato plant in the center of this. And see, I have snails real bad. That's the reason those bottles come in good. Plus my sunflowers. I got sunflowers coming up in here. Because I had one growing out here somewhere. In one of these pots. I think this one last year. But I need to break up the dirt a little bit. And hold on just a sec. I'm getting to jump on concession stance planting. Like this little, it's a beefsteak tomato. And they've normally have been selling for $5.97 a plant. This one was $2.47, so I grabbed it. And what I'm going to do is concession plant. You know, I got a couple of tomato plants that I purchased on sale. And then I've got seeds that I've started. They're just now starting to come up. So these the ones that are already started and up almost not quite a foot tall will give me a head start on my tomato crop. And then when the ones that are big enough that started from seeds, they're big enough that I can transplant, I'll transplant those. But you know, I don't normally buy the plants, but if they're on sale that less expensive, I might buy one or two. I'm not going to pay $5.97 or $6 a plant though. And I got a couple of them that were on sale for less than $3, And they actually had two plants in each pot. So I felt like I lucked out on that. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and plant my seedlings when they get big enough to transplant as well. And that's a pepper. Stick it down in there. Maybe it'll do something. Yeah, I'm going to put this this tomato, right down in here. I'm going to dig the hole right there. I guess you can see what I'm doing. You don't need it too deep because you can kind of loosen the roots up a little bit at the bottom. And I'll take my tag and put it right there. Lets me know that's a beefsteak tomato. I'm going to invert my cage, put it upside down, see if I can get it down in there a little ways. Get some dirt on top of that bottom row. And then I got a piece of wire here. I think I'll have better luck with them not wanting to fall over by doing it this way. And it'll give the tomato plant plenty of support. And I think you're too close and you can't see what I'm doing. I'm scared to death my tripod's gonna turn over. I don't like this tripod. I don't know why I brought it out. But you can see how tall that cage is. And with it turned the other way, it kept wanting to fall over. But I think it'll be more sturdy this way when it gets the weight of the tomato on it. And I'm not sure how tall the tomato will get. But I'm doing this. Just wrapping that wire right around the top and holding it together. And I think my tomato cage will be less likely to turn over. As the tomato plant grows. I need to cut this yarn out of there, but oh well. I didn't bring anything to cut with it, so. And I'll just kind of pat the dirt down around it where that was. And I'm going to put I'll come out here later with the scissors and cut this yarn off. But you see, you have to go through trial and error with your garden. Do things and see what works. But I've got these black cherry tomatoes that I wanted to try this year. And the sun is not shining. I mean, it's shining so on it you can't. There you go. They're kind of almost a burgundy color. I've never planted this type before. So this will be the first year. And look at the seeds. can't see it, but they're pink. They're coated seeds. You can see them at the bottom of the package because that bottom is clear and you can see them. I'm anxious to see what they look like and what they taste like. So that'll be one hill of them. Right, black cherry tomato. Put that right there. And if you wanted to, you could put one of these right on where you planted the seed. You want to get those leaves out of there though. I can't see the seed come up from the leaves laying there. And you can kind of twist it and work it down in the dirt just a tiny bit. So there I've got eggplant, hot pepper, I've got scallop white bush squash, jalapeno, my usual asparagus. I should write on this and just keep up what it is because I never move it. Asparagus. But I've got a hot pepper, no, a cherry tomato, a celebrity tomato, beefsteak tomato, slicing tomato. And we need another hot pepper somewhere, probably in this pot. I think I grew a hot pepper there last year. Yeah, I had a jalapeno in there last year. That stake, that marker, and I got a jalapeno back there, but I got to get some more compost dirt and regular dirt and stuff to mix it to, you know, refreshen some of these. I think I'll grow me a jalapeno there again. That's a sweet pepper. Some of these peppers look the same, but look at this. I want to show you something, and you'll get them mixed up when they're growing in the garden. That one's a sweet pepper. That one's a hot pepper. They look the same or almost identical, but one's hot and one's a sweet banana pepper. So you definitely don't want to get them mixed up. You don't want to put that hot pepper in your salad, your fresh green salad. I don't know, I might go ahead and put the hot pepper, the Hungarian, it's the Hungarian yellow wax pepper is what it is. And I got jalapeno back there. I mean, this stuff is broke down so much. It is just some of the best garden soil you'll ever see. And you can't even see it. Sorry about that. You can't see it. See if I can put this in a different spot. Because there's where I'm digging right here. But look at this. Isn't that some of the best soil you're ever going to find? And that was all made from compost, local dirt. a little bit of topsoil. And you just want to loosen it up, because you're going to be watering with your compost tea. And you're going to be, you can add Epsom salt, stuff like that later on. I put 4 seeds in there. That should give me 4 plants, and I'll have to pull one out and move it somewhere. But I got a mark on it and say what it is, so where's my marker? I had a bunch of them. I don't know what I did with them. Here's one. And this was what did I call it? A Hungarian. I'm probably right in front. Yellow, hot wax pepper. And I go to the trouble to mark these every year, but usually by the time they come up, the markers faded out and you can't even tell what was planted there. But that's how I'm going to do the rest of them, so that gives you an idea of how to do it. Because we still got cool nights. We may even have another freezing night, who knows. And if we do, I'll just get something and cover my plants up. I'll leave this on there, that'll take care of them. And if the tomato plant's still small enough, I can put a bottle on top of that and it'll keep it fine. So that's an idea for you of how to plant your garden. Use all of your existing soil that you created last year, or if you haven't planted a garden last year, plant one this year. Do the composting in place just like I did the raised beds and the other totes. If you haven't seen any of my videos where I do the composting in place, you just take a tote or a raised bed or anything, put broken down wood bark in the bottom, put you some leaves, put any greenery plants that you can in there, you know, dead greenery plants. Compost out of your compost pile, you know, and that's all kitchen scraps, plant scraps, that type of thing. But, you know, peelings from cucumbers, potatoes, whatever. And then put some of your native soil, cardboard in it. You put cardboard down in the bottom with your wood. That helps hold moisture. And if you put your hole about that far up from the bottom of your tote, if you're going to plant in a tote, and put a drain spout in it, that'll be your reservoir, water reservoir in the bottom, so you don't have to water it constantly. And you can put a little black bucket under your drain spout and catch that compost tea and re-water your other plants with it. So I hope that gave some of you, you know, a few tips on how to compost in place. And by gosh, don't throw your soil away. When you get ready to plant this year, if you got a pot full of soil where you planted last year, you save that soil, you just turn it up, mix it up, add more compost to it, add more regular soil to it, or whatever you have available. And plant in it. Don't get rid of it. Don't start over. I mean, once that soil is there and it's broken down, you can plant in it for many, many years. Don't ever throw your soil away, because you could always revive it. If it's broken down so much that all the nutrients is depleted out of it, do like I said, dump your tote or your bucket in a wheelbarrow or a big container. Add more dirt to it. Add more compost to it. Add whatever you can to enrich that soil. Put it back in that tote and plant in it again. And you don't have to buy tons of bags of potting mix. I mean, you may want to buy a few, to put on the very top, because I usually, if I'm planting seeds, I want some really good soil, loose soil on top. And if I don't have it, I will buy a decent potting mix, and I'll put about 1 inch or so deep at the top and put my seeds in it. But you can see most of mine, my soil is broke down and it's so fine, you don't need potting soil to put in there. I mean, you can mix some in it, no problem. But I've still got all these others to do. I've still got many, many pots there. I've got many of them over there. So I'm not done. But I'm trying to save a few spots for my seedlings, because I've got seedlings coming up now. Let me get this out of here and I'll show you if I don't turn the phone off accidentally. Seedlings coming up finally. I've got purple tomato seedlings coming up in the greenhouse. I've got eggplant coming up here. See, where was it? Right there. See the green? Those little green sprouts? That's eggplant finally trying to come up. So some of your seeds take longer than others. But I've got lettuce. I got several different things in here if I can get this door open. Yeah, I've got lettuce. I started 1 rose. I got 1 rose there rooting. A rose cutting. See, I got Cherokee tomatoes coming up. Cherokee purples. And I'm having to water these every day. And see, there's some back there. The eggplant's over there. It hasn't come up. And the assorted cherry tomatoes, it did not come up yet. I've got a Cabanello hot red pepper. One of them come up. I got zucchini right there that I need to get out and transplant. I got okra coming up right there. I've got geraniums right there. And those are Cherokee purple tomatoes there. I think I see one back there in the back that sprouted. And this is, I forgot. Holy basil, that's what it is. And see, even though that's supposed to be a permanent garden marker, look at there, you can barely read the marker. It's all faded off. But that's holy basil. So I'm going to leave it here. Try to keep them watered until they're big enough to transplant. And then see, I've got to have somewhere to transplant these. That's quite a few tomato plants back there that I'm going to have to transplant pretty soon. Maybe not every single one of them came up, but quite a few of them has come up. And they're still coming up. So don't get discouraged, And my peas. My corn's coming up right along with my peas. See there, that's corn right there. That's corn right there. So the thing to do is plant your corn with your peas, your pole beans. So as those peas put out sprouts to latch onto something, the corn stalk will be close enough by that maybe it'll start latching onto the corn stalk. And that's the idea of having it grow up the corn stalk. They haven't come up in this yet. I'm not sure why. Maybe it didn't get sun fast enough, but I got corn coming up right there. Look at there. Isn't he silly? He's so silly. But with that, I'm going to wish y'all a good day. I'm tired. It's hot. The wind's blowing. And like I said, I haven't been able to burn because the wind's been blowing like crazy all day again today. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll wait and burn on Sunday, I guess. when the wind's not blowing. I guess nature even took a break on Sunday. Go figure that. But anyway, maybe this is, you know, some of you got some tips out of it, some things you can do in your garden. And I'm going to go ahead and finish up here. And I'm going to get in the house and put my feet up for a little bit. And see all my walking onions, my Egyptian walking onions, they live right through the winter months. They don't die down. Some of them on the outside, you know, a lot of this on the outside will. But just pull it off, put it in your compost. And then as soon as the warm weather comes back, they're back to growing again. And pretty soon they're going to be walking. And they're going to be producing baby onions to plant. So I'll be giving some of those away on some of my question and answer things. So some of the rest of you can get some Egyptian walking onions started. But I've got enough Egyptian walking onions planted now that I can start pulling them up and eating them. And I'm not going to miss my onions too bad, because by the time I get this tote empty, these were the first ones I ever planted a couple of years ago. And you can see I've been pulling some up to eat them. But they keep right on producing more baby onions to plant. So by the time I pull all these out, I'll have more to plant in that same tote. So I'm not worried about it. Well, that's all I can think of for right now. But yeah, save all your soil from last year. Don't dare dump it out. I mean, it's just now breaking down to where it's really good soil to plant in. The second year is even better than the first year to plant in. So, with that, I'm going to wish y'all, if I can keep my hand out in front of the camera, with that, I'm going to wish y'all a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. I hope you found this video useful. You know, that's the only reason I make these videos, is to give you some tips on gardening that I've learned over the years, and I hope it helps you as much as it's helped me. So with that, good day. Bless y'all. Have a blessed night.